overwhelming it can be planning a meaningful farewell for your loved one. Secure your peace of mind by calling Charlotte White at 323-577-5562. That's Charlotte White at 323-577-5562. From traditional funeral services to memorials to direct cremation, pre-needs, and more. Call Charlotte White at Exquisite Family Mortuary for Southern Hospitality in Southern California. That's Charlotte White at 323-577-5562. Exquisite Family Mortuary is located nearby in Inglewood, California. Exquisite Family Mortuary, where your loved one becomes our loved one.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know the United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time? Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish. Minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
Stories are power. The Black Land Lost Narrative Archive Project is an effort to collect, preserve, and amplify stories of Black land loss. It will form an invaluable resource for scholars, authors, historians, educators, storytellers, policymakers, and change agents who wrestle with issues of restitution, reparations, racial inequality and home ownership, and the racial wealth gap. Through documenting stories of Black land loss, the archive will help demonstrate the magnitude of what Black families have lost and will continue the national dialogue to encourage paths to restitution, rebuilding, and healing. Support the Black Land Lost Narrative Archive Project by visiting www.blacklandlost.org or by donating at www.blacklandlost.org/donate. Spread the word to inspire awareness, activism, leadership, and change. And join us in making a lasting impact. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black, 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 black. Sometimes you fail to fit in. But we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
You are indeed. I'm glad about it. Our guest in this hour is Ellie Mystal, the nation's justice correspondent and author of a new book called Bad Law, 10 Popular Laws That Are Ruining America. If you loved his first book, Allow Me to Retort, A Black Guy's Guide to the Constitution, you are going to love this one as well. So, Ellie, when Dr. King and Harry Belafonte first met, Belafonte was so impressed with Dr. King and so drawn to him, he told him that he would forever be in his service in whatever ways he could be. And that starts a years-long friendship of Harry Belafonte honoring his commitment to serve Dr. King, of course, as he could. He said, but Doc, I got to tell you, I'm not really into that Christian thing. I know you're a reverend, and I'm into the Christian thing. And Dr. King said, well, Harry, you should know that I am a Christian. I am a follower of that first century Palestinian Jew named Jesus. So I am a Christian. But I say to God all the time, can you please save me from these Christians? I'm a follower of Christ. It's the Christians I have a problem with. I thought about that a moment ago as you were talking about this chapter 10 of the text, because for a nation that advances itself, frames itself as Christian, and you laid the numbers out about who these persons are that are passing our laws, overwhelmingly Christian.
Administration to take food away from hungry children. And I don't. There is no. I try to not inject my own morality into my legal analysis. But if you want me to, right, I can't think of a more immoral administration. Not amoral. Amoral you can kind of deal with. A more immoral administration than the current one, and that is proven again not by just their actions, not by just their words. I mean, not just by the stump speeches, but by the actual actions, by the actual laws and policies coming out of this administration.
I asked you earlier in this conversation, for those who are just tuning in, I asked Ellie earlier in this dialogue about the through line between these 10 popular laws that are ruining America that he details in his new book, Bad Law. By the way, this is launch day. We're honored to have him on the day the book actually drops. And part of your response, part of it was that race is clearly a through line in these bad laws. Tell me more about the extent to which class is a through line in these bad laws.
Right, so one of the first laws I talked about, the first law I talked about is voter registration and how we should get rid of all voter registration laws. Not voter eligibility requirements. I agree that there should be some eligibility requirements. We might disagree on what those requirements are, but once you are eligible to vote, there should be no need to pre-register to vote, right? Voter registration, pre-registration was not endemic to the country at the founding. It's not something that we had in 1787. Most of our voter registration laws start in the North after the Civil War. Why? Because you have newly freed Africans coming north. You have an influx of Europeans coming to New York, and all of a sudden, and you know, I went to Catholic school for elementary school until I started questioning too much. And the basic, they're not even on the table. The issue was that they were worried that poor white men were voting. And so they needed a voter registration law to prevent poor white men from voting. And I detail in the book, I found an original source. It's John Adams, who was second president of the United States from Massachusetts, arguing with the then Attorney General, future governor of Massachusetts, James Sullivan, arguing for why poor white men can't be trusted with the vote. And he's saying that, well, it's actually because the poor white men, since they're poor, they don't have a stake in the society, and so they'll just vote how their landlords want them to vote. But what he's really saying is that he's afraid that poor white men won't. We got to remember that the bourgeoisie revolutionaries that started this country were a very small class of capitalists. And they understood that if you expanded the franchise just to all the other white men, that their small band of bourgeois capitalists would quickly be overrun by poorer white men who wanted a more fair and more equal distribution of the wealth in this country, and they couldn't let that happen. And so a lot of the early voting restrictions were placed not just on black people and women, because obviously black people and women, we didn't get to count as people. Right? They weren't even, John Adams wasn't writing about us, right? He was writing about keeping poor white folks out of the franchise. So again, the classism and the greed infects even something as basic as our access to the democratic franchise.
Yep. There are two more I want to get to, two more of these chapters I want to get to. Again, I want to give the entire thing away. It's an amazing piece of work, as is everything that Ellie writes. But there are two that jump out at me, in part because I want to make sure that this audience understands that you're speaking to everybody in this book, but that you are concerned about the things that matter to them as well. Let me jump to chapter 4. Why, and I love the way you title these things. I mean, the titles themselves jump out at you, which is why I started with chapter 10. But chapter 4 is titled, Why Do We Incarcerate So Many People? We're talking about 10 popular laws that are ruining America, as detailed in the new book from Ellie Mystal out today called Bad Law. Chapter 4, once again, Why Do We Incarcerate So Many People? Take it away, Ellie.
So I talk about the crime bill, but not the 1994 crime bill. Well, I mean, I talk about that too, but that's very bad, right? Yeah. But I kind of go all the way back to where the 1994 crime bill starts, which is 1984, and it's a bill called the Armed Career Criminals Act. And that is the thing that imposed, for the first time in American history, mandatory minimums. The idea that after 3 strikes, you can be put in jail for up to 15 years for your third offense, even if it's for a low-level crime. And what that did is add a racial disparity and a racial valence and bias to our criminal justice system like we had never seen before. And by we had never seen, I'm going all the way back to 1787, remember? Mm-hmm. And I'm saying that the racial injustice in terms of criminal sentencing that happened after this law passed in 1984 was like nothing we ever seen, because by 1986 they added drug crimes as one of your 3 strikes. So now you can be in possession of marijuana, then you can be in possession of marijuana again, and then you can boost a car, and now you're going away for 15 years. It is a provably racist law that has led to the mass incarceration of predominantly our people that only crescendoed with the horrible 1994 crime bill. The other thing, though, Tavis, is that it's based on terrible science, right? The science that we understood, that is true. Like, again, I love me some facts, right? Mm-hmm. So we understand in criminal justice that your prime crime committing years are about from the ages of 20 to 35, right? That's when you're going to commit most of your crimes, and most of your most serious crimes are going to be committed in that period of your life, right? Mm-hmm. So when they were first proposed, the 15-year mandatory minimums were said to incapacitate criminals, right? You want to get a person, put them away for 15 years, then they age out of doing more crime, and that's the thought process, right? But here's the thing. We don't catch criminals on their 3rd strike when they're 20, unless they're real bad at being criminals. Yeah. Right? Yep. By the time you get your 3rd strike, you're usually already in your 30s, late 30s. So we're putting you away for 15 years right at the point where you're about to age out of the crime business, right? Right at the point when you're about to go onto your stoop and be like, the kids these days, they don't know how to commit crimes, and they did in my day. Right at that point, we take you out of your community, away. By this point, you probably have a family. We take you away from your family, and we put you in jails for 15 years. So now you're in jail from 30 to 45 when you were only supposed to be in jail from 20 to 35. Right? So it's terrible science, just at a basic level, besides all the racism and all the cruelty and all the pain that it's caused in our community.
And that is why he is Ellie Mystal, and that is why he's on this program. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
From the Alert Heart with love, this is Tavis Smiley.
Robinhood Gold members can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on annual retirement contributions. With Robinhood Gold, the perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive a 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number and put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
The revolution will not be televised.
What's up? It is Killer Mike, also known as Michael Render, and I'm encouraging you to listen to more, not less, of Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Senator Nina Turner on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has WorkSource centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer offer a full range of services for job seekers and businesses alike. Visit careeronestop.org, or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All of these services are free to help you get your next job. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Freedom is an endless meeting. So let's get back to it with Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Ellie Mystal. His new book is called Bad Law, 10 Popular Laws That Are Ruining America. The text is out today, wherever fine books are sold, as they say. My time is getting tired of me. Let me jump to the other thing I definitely want to cover before I lose you at the top of the hour, Ellie, and that is Chapter 7. Why do we give white guys a license to kill black people? When I say these titles are arresting, you see what I mean.
Look, that's my chapter on Stand Your Ground. Stand Your Ground is the most provably racist law for which we have stats on. If you are a white person who shoots a black person and you claim that you had to stand your ground, you are over 200% more likely to go home than if you are a black person who shoots a white person and claims the same thing. The law is designed to give gun owners a reason to shoot black people, and it was entirely unnecessary. What I explain in that chapter is all of the different ways that people can claim self-defense, right? All the different reasons that people can claim self-defense. And the whole point of all of our self-defense logic is that all you have to do is be able to prove it. Yep. If you're going to shoot somebody to death and claim that you had to defend your own life, all you have to do is prove it. And then you get to walk home. But stand your ground is different, because if you can convince a cop that you had to shoot that person to death to save your own life without any investigation, then if the cop believes you, then guess what? You can't be sued. You cannot be charged. The state cannot go after you. The point of Stand Your Ground is to stop the criminal investigation process, and that's why we have these massive disparities in racial justice in states that are Stand Your Ground. Because if you're a white person and a black person is dead in front of you, and you say, "Officer, I had to," they're like, "Well, case closed," right? Yeah. If you're a black person and there's a dead white person in front of you, you say, "Officer, I had to." Guess case ain't closed yet, son, right? And you're going to go through the entire normal self-defense process. That is why Stand Your Ground is so provably racist.
There's an interlude in Chapter 7, the only chapter that has one of these, an interlude in Chapter 7 that he titles, Why is the Second Amendment So Violent and Stupid? As only Ellie Mystal could title it. Why is the Second Amendment So Violent and Stupid? I'll save that for you when you get the book to read the interlude part of Chapter 7 that he just sort of top-lined for us. Our remaining moments with Ellie Mystal when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Helping to stretch your moral and political imagination. This is Tavis Smiley.
Robinhood Gold members can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on annual retirement contributions. With Robinhood Gold, the perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive a 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality. They have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada. Member FDIC.
Lena Bloom for the Bail Project. Imagine you're stuck in a jail cell and you can't afford bail and someone offers you a way out. Just plead guilty and you can go home and kiss your kids goodnight. What do you do? What thousands have. You plead guilty whether you are or not. Cash bail makes poverty a crime. That's why the Bail Project helps those who can't afford it while fighting to end cash bail. Because freedom should be free.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Time is up. The IRS is in full collection mode for 2024, issuing liens, levies, and garnishments to anyone who has a past tax debt or unfiled tax returns. Don't wait till it's too late. Your paycheck and bank accounts are at risk of being seized. Call now and stop the collection process today. If you're living check to check, no matter how much you're making, you still may qualify for the Fresh Start programs offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax debt. It's just a 5-minute call to get your options, and it's free. If you owe back taxes, have years of unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wage or bank levy, or finally just want to sleep better, business or personal, call the experts at Republic Tax Relief while there's still time. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and tough. This veteran-owned company has the fight you need to take on the IRS. Don't go at it alone. The call is free. Call their hotline number now, 800-652-1714. That's 800-652-1714. Find out if you qualify today. Call 800-652-1714 or go to republictaxrelief.com.
Sometimes you fail to fit in. We're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
You are indeed for 3 more minutes in this hour with Ellie Mystal. If Ellie has not already convinced you why you should get this book, then we can't do no better than this. It's called Bad Law, 10 Popular Laws That Are Ruining America. Again, it is as good as his first book, Allow Me to Retort, Black Guy's Guide to the Constitution. I just recommend you get both of them. You go get the new one, Bad Law, get the first one, Allow Me to Retort. Put both of them in your library as I have in my library. I've got 3 minutes left. I'll give it all to you, Ellie. You can't spend an hour with Ellie Mystal talking about the 10 popular laws that are ruining America without talking about at least for 2 minutes or so SCOTUS. And so here's my only question about SCOTUS. In this, which way ultimately they're going to go in the days ahead, even though I'm not naive, it's a conservative court. Trump has a number of picks, of course, on that court. But at once they gave him immunity, which people were just scratching their heads about still. But then John Roberts last week acted like he had a spine, a little spine. So I'm trying to figure out where this Supreme Court is actually going to show up, how they're going to show up, I should say, over the next few years in Trump 2.0. What say you?
Yeah, so I wrote in The Nation about that little act of spininess by John and explained how it was actually a feint. What the Supreme Court is trying to do is to avoid a direct confrontation with Trump over the law because they know they'll lose. They know that Trump will defy their order, so they're trying not to put themselves in a position where they have to order him to do something that he won't do. Mm-hmm. And that is John Roberts' entire game, and it's pathetic, but that's where we are. So what I predict is that the Supreme Court will stand up to Trump on issues where Trump does not have full control, right? So you see some of his lawsuits against the states, like in my state, New York, right? The Supreme Court might side with New York because Trump can't do anything to New York if the Supreme Court backs up Governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, right? Like, unless he's going to put boots on the ground to come over the GW, Trump can't force Hochul to do anything. Right. But on issues where Trump has all the power, like abducting and kidnapping immigrants and putting them on planes, the Supreme Court's going to let him do it. When it comes to firing federal officials, the Supreme Court's going to let him do it. When it comes to firing anybody who's black in the government, the Supreme Court is going to let him do it, not because what he's doing is legal or constitutional, but because the Supreme Court itself is scared of him and is unwilling to court a conflict with him where they think they'll lose.
I want to just use your words. Speaking of scary, that is scary that when they live in a so-called democracy where the Supreme Court is scared of the president.
Yeah, that's where we are. And I think Roberts' letter shows just how afraid he is, because you'll notice in that letter he says, impeachment is not the right way to handle a judicial disagreements. Yeah, thanks, John. We all know that. What didn't he say? He didn't say, follow the lower court judge's order. which you are currently violating. Follow the because remember, the Constitution does not say the third branch of government is the Supreme Court. That's not what it says. It says the third branch of government is the judiciary. So when you violate a federal court order, you are violating the third branch of government in the Constitution. It doesn't give a special privilege to the Supreme Court, but John Roberts, he doesn't want that smoke. He doesn't want that smoke. He doesn't tell Trump to follow the lower court orders. He tells them, appeal it to the Supreme Court and we'll see what happens. Mr. Trump, maybe you'll win. Is what he said.
I shouldn't say this, but but it's true. Guests on any program are not unlike athletes. LeBron is just better than everybody else. Kobe was better. Michael was better. And some guests are just better than other guests. Ellie Mystal is in that category. His book is called Bad Law, 10 Popular Laws That Are Ruining America. The book is out today. Go get it. While you're at it, get Allow Me to Retort, his first book. Ellie, I appreciate you for doing it again, my friend. Congrats on the new book.
Thank you so much for having me on Launch Day. I really appreciate it, Tavis. You're one of the programs I wanted to do today.
My great honor. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. Postmaster General Louis DeJoy announced his resignation effective Monday. He cited beneficial changes made, but acknowledged more work is needed. Deputy Postmaster General Doug Tolino will serve as interim head. Measles cases in a West Texas outbreak have surpassed last year's national total. Dr. Ben Bradley says the numbers likely underrepresent the true spread centered in a religious community avoiding modern health care. The Supreme Court will decide on a gerrymandering case involving Louisiana's congressional map, which includes 2 majority black districts for the first time in decades. Civil rights